Yo, welcome to Jax the Messenger podcast. I am your host, Jax the Messenger. Once again, welcome to Jax the Messenger podcast, episode 1. We are here. We are starting from rock bottom. For those who don't know me, I am Jax the Messenger. I am an entrepreneur, an author, a spoken word artist, and now looks like podcaster. This is something I've been thinking about doing for a while. I've talked about it. I've made fun of other podcasts out there, and now here I am building one so other people could probably make fun of me or talk about our content. But I feel like there's a need for it. I don't want to say a calling, but I feel an urge to start this podcast. In the midst of me talking trash and junk about all the content that's out there and how similar it is. And I said I should start one. Just playing around, I should start one. And my wife gifted me a mic. And I said, okay, I guess I'm doing this. And the subject matter predominantly that we're going to focus on this podcast is something that's near dear to me, which is mental health, men's mental health to be exact. I am currently on my healing journey, and hopefully we can take this journey together and we can heal together. Now, I said this is predominantly focused on men's mental health, but this show is for everybody. It's for women too, right? This is maybe some of the context or some of the content will help you understand the man in your life, whether it's your romantic partner, your brother, your father, your uncle, your son, your friend. This will hopefully help you understand different perspectives and deal with things differently. And for the men out there who don't know what emotions they're feeling or why they're feeling this way or why they react a certain way, hopefully we are able to put things in perspective. And again, I am just the messenger. Do I have all the answers? No. Do I have an understanding of some things? Yes. And for the things I don't understand, we will have those proper, we'll have the individuals who are versed in these subject matters on the show. But I don't want to keep telling you what the show is going to be about. I'd rather just show you guys and hopefully you guys tune in. But in order for us to heal and understand what it is that we need to move forward, we need to be vulnerable. And we're going to be vulnerable with each other. And that starts with comfortability and trust. So I'll go first. Episode 1, I'll be vulnerable first. I'll share with you why men's mental health matters to me, where I am now, and what got me on this journey. So I mentioned earlier that I am an entrepreneur. This is something that I've been doing for maybe on and off, maybe over 15 years, on and off, fresh out of high school, college, several different things. Some work, some I just didn't stick to. And as anybody knows, and anything you're doing, as everybody knows, anything you're doing, you have to stick to it. And so a lot of things didn't work out because I didn't stick to it. But my older years, I started a business. I started a few businesses, and they were working. And during that time, I was working at a law firm. This is 2019. I'm working at a law firm, and I'm making the most amount of money I've ever made in my life. I'm not making crazy money. I'm just saying this is the most amount of money I've personally made at this point in my life. And I started a few businesses. And my job at the law firm was the seed that I was using to fund all my other businesses, getting them off the ground. And at this point, I have been running these businesses for about 3 years, right? But I'm still working at the law firm because you need money it takes money to make money. So let that let that be a little gem for you guys for you people who want to quit your jobs and go straight to entrepreneurship. No, you still have bills and you still need money to get this business out the ground. So I understood that, and I was working at the firm, and I got to a point where it just stopped making sense, right? And I said I was going to quit my job at the firm and focus on my businesses full time, right? This will allow me to have more time to the business, and I've built up relationships. I've done some things, and I was going to take the leap of faith. I've had some savings. I was going to take a leap of faith and focus on my businesses. Of course, this is very scary, but this is something I felt like I needed to do. It was now or never. I wanted to make the sacrifice and see what's out there, right? So I said that 2020, I wanted to start fresh and I wanted to be a full-on entrepreneur in the year 2020. So the end of 2019, I spoke to the managing partner. I work for a solo practitioner. I told the attorney, hey, I would like to put my 2 weeks. We had a relationship. We had like a friendship too. It was more than just a boss employee relationship. We were cool, and I told him, look, I think that I need to focus on something else. And he knew about my other businesses, and he was very supportive. And I said, I don't think this is what I need to be doing right now. And he said, hey, I understand, but instead of 2 weeks, do you mind giving me 2 months? Just to get my bearings together and prepare and replace you and everything of the sort. I was kind of happy because for me, it was like, okay, this gives me more time to stack up. This gives me more time to save money. This gives me more time to get my stuff together instead of, a rough 2 weeks. I have 2 months. 2 months go by. I'm saving money. I'm doing everything I need to do. I'm starting to cut costs, right? Because I know that my major source of income is going to essentially disappear. So all that, feeding the team when we go out, that stopped. I used to jet ski maybe twice a month. That stopped. Start making cuts, right? Because it's time to make budget cuts. The money's about to stop. We've got to get serious and focus and invest what we have. So 2 months go by, end of Feb, last week of Feb. I remember this day. It was my last day, and I said, okay, this is it. I remember walking out the firm and stepping out, and it just felt like I was walking into another dimension. It's like, now this is the real world. Because essentially, technically, at this point, I am unemployed for the first time since I was 16. I'm on the verge. I'm at this point, I'm knocking on 30. I've been employed since I was 16. And now I'm stepping out the law firm, and it's like, you have no job, like no security blanket. So it just felt different. Everything mattered. The price of things mattered. For the first time ever, I'm actually paying attention to the price of gas, or food, and I'm like, okay, even my, like everything I was spending on. If I was buying a $20 meal, and it was like, dang, how long did it take me to make $20? All these things I'm factoring in. This is the real world, but I'm up for the challenge. I remember that first week of being a full-time entrepreneur, I kind of drifted because I didn't have a schedule. Because I was so used to going to work, focusing on the businesses, trying to make time matter, time crunch, because I'm always busy, busy, busy. Here I am with this free time that I said I was going to allocate towards the businesses, and now I don't know what to do. right? Because I didn't have structure, I didn't have a schedule, I didn't know what to do. So to anybody out there that's thinking about creating a business, or you have a very busy life, create a schedule, because if you just go off willy-nilly, you're going to get nothing done, right? So I don't care who you are, you need to create schedule in your day. You need to create structure in your day. So once I realized that, hey, I'm all over the place and I'm getting nothing done besides having anxiety of not having an income, I was like, okay, I'll make a schedule. I need I tapped into why did I need the free time to begin with. During the day, I need to contact people. I need to build these relationships, and I'm not able to do that because I'm stuck in the office. So I started making a list of the people I need to contact, things I needed to do, and I built a schedule. Now I'm like, okay, I'm feeling like a real entrepreneur. I'm waking up in my own time. I'm making my own schedule. I'm working for myself. The next week, the world shuts down. The whole world shut down. The pandemic hits. Never in life. We have been through so many things. I'm from Florida. We've been through Hurricane Andrew. We've been through Katrina. We've been through 9/11. Never have I seen the world completely shut down. Right? Now, everything changes. The businesses, how they were generating income, stops because the world stops. Things I needed done stops. Manufacturing stops. And I don't have a job. So I'm trying to figure out how to make these businesses work. I'm trying to pour into them. I'm trying to spend money to figure it out, but I don't have that income. So the money's depleting, right? I fall into a depression. I fall into a very, very bad depression. But at the time, I don't know it's depression. I just know that life sucks right now. I'm going broke, and I'm going broke fast, right? Bills are piling up. I'm trying to figure out. But at this point, bills weren't piling up, but they were starting to get close, tight. But let me backtrack to my last day at the firm. Why I felt a sense of confidence walking out. Like I said before, I do spoken words. I have them on streaming platforms. At this point, I did over 1 million streams on YouTube. So I had royalty checks coming in. But that last day, I received the largest single royalty payment that I've ever received in one lump sum. And for me, that was a sign from God saying that you're going to be all right. You got this, right? So for me, I felt confident that knowing that I'm a hustler, like I'm going to always get money, right? So for me, I felt like God was speaking to me in that moment. So fast forward, now I'm going broke. So, as I'm going through what I'm going through, that day of when I received that royalty check is always in my mind, always back in my mind, like, God provided, God did this. So I know that something's going to come up. The next royalty check comes. It is the lowest royalty check that I've ever received. And I'm like, wow, this is getting scary. But God, up to this point, God always provided. I always was able to do certain things. Like if I had a bill due, a very important bill, like it would literally be the day before the money would drop. A client would pay for something, or a sale would be made to allow me to pay. Sometimes at the midst of it, I found myself, in the park, trying to work out and clear my mind. And it'll be, I'll just pray to the heavens, and then that same, I'm like, this is going to be late. I have it till 5 p.m. And then, bam, I'll have a paid invoice. And I live like that. I mean, talk about living check to check. I was living moment to moment. It was real. So I'm falling into depression. I'm stressed. I'm overeating. I'm gaining crazy amounts of weight. And my health is pretty much depleting, and I don't know what to do. On top of that, it's the pandemic. I'm dealing with all these things and trying to figure out what I'm going to do to survive. I lose a total of, within a span of a year, I lose a total of 10 people in 10 months. That's averaging one person per month. But even though it wasn't like that, some months it'll be two people, one month it'll be three people. But in the span of 10 months, I lost 10 family and friends, close family friends, family or close family friends. Now, some of these people I didn't know, I didn't have a crazy relationship with them. I didn't have a tight relationship with them, but I knew who they were, and they were close to people that were close to me. And seeing them suffer and seeing them go through it affected me, right? So out of the 10, I would say about 6 of them hit my chest. The other 4 were like extended family members or friends of a friend and people that associates that I met in passing. But I'm watching the people around me suffer, right? But I have a lot going on, so I'm not dealing with these emotions. I'm not dealing with the losses back to back. I don't have time. I'm broke. I don't have time to like weep, to care, I'll have moments and I'll be like, dang, that's crazy. So and so died. That's crazy. But I couldn't dwell on it because I'm dying, right? My health is depleting. I'm financially strained, and I don't know if you've ever been down bad and had overhead, because again, remember I said I was doing well, so I had a lot of overhead, these businesses in my personal life. When it's draining fast, it literally feels like you're dying. You feel like you're sinking. That's how I felt, right? And I always pride on being somebody who didn't need much of material things to be happy, although I like nice things, but I always looked at myself as like, yeah, that's cool. Because I'll buy these nice things or I'll get nice things, and like, in hindsight, I wouldn't really care about them. I wouldn't take care of them because to me, it didn't matter. What mattered to me was like experiences and happiness and being clean and eating good. That was my whole thing. I couldn't even eat good. There were days where like, man, I was honestly sick of 4 for 4s, right? And nobody knew this. Nobody knew I was going through this because I was still helping others. I was still clean. I was still doing my thing. I was still promoting and marketing my businesses as if they were generating income, right? But really, I'm just marketing to get things rolling. And people don't have money like that. They don't want to invest that because they're scared. This is, pre-stimulus. This is everything before everybody figured out this work from home thing. This is before anybody knew what was going to happen, right? So everybody's like cuffing every penny. They're just trying to hold on to every dollar because we don't know what's going to happen next. So everybody's just pretty much saving and saving and saving and hoping for the best. What broke me was the final straw, right? It was not going to the doctor trying to figure out what's going to with my health. It was not my beard shedding. It was not any of that. What broke me was the fact that I didn't have time to deal with the 10 deaths, but as the world began to open up again and people started doing and moving around, I'm still harboring these feelings, right? Even though I'm starting to bounce back now financially, I'm figuring it out. I'm making things happen. I'm hustling. I'm using all my credentials to make ends meet, and I'm doing okay. It seems like I'm getting back on the horse and I'm figuring it out. And unexpectedly, one of my friends gets hit by a car and dies suddenly. What bothered me about the situation was not so much losing him, it was how it happened. He was hit and left there to die. The driver who hit him fled the scene. And that created so much anger, so much pain. Everything just came rushing up at once. And everything that I didn't deal with, I had to deal with in that season. I went to the candle lighting, I went to the visual, but I didn't make it to the funeral. And I know there's people in my life who are probably going to be hearing this for the first time or hearing what I was going through for the first time. But I know that there were some people that judged me for not going to the funeral. I couldn't go to the funeral. I couldn't. I lost 10 people. I'm emotionally exhausted. I'm physically exhausted. I couldn't bring myself to go to this funeral. And on top of that, I'm angry. Right? And nobody knows how I feel, but I'm ready to crash out. I'm ready to crash out. I don't care who this person is. Let's find him and let's deal with it. I'm in a space where I don't understand what's going on. I'm angry. And somebody killed my friend and they're out there living their best life. A year goes by, still haven't caught the person. They have a suspect, still haven't caught him. I'm ready to, let's find him and I don't care for law enforcement to do anything. I'm trying to trust God, but I want to take matters to my own hands. But that's just the anger and the frustration and everything just come boiling over. And I got to a point where I isolated myself from everyone and everything. And I just started doing me. I didn't want to get close to anybody because I didn't want to lose anybody else. I didn't want to care if somebody else was gone. And that is the work of the enemy. And also, it's also a deeper form of pain and isolation and depression that fuels how men react to things, right? Because there's a lot of things and experiences that we go through that make us who we are. And I'm in this space, and now that I'm back on my feet, even though a lot of people didn't know I was down, and I'm moving around now, and in the surface, I look like, oh, he's doing good. He figured this out. He has no scratches on him, and he went through the pandemic, and look at him thriving, and he's doing this thing. But I'm broken. And I'm just promising myself to not get attached or close to anything or anyone. But there was a young lady that I was trying to court for some time now, right? That I was flirting with on and off during the pandemic on social media that I've seen around, and we run similar circles, and I got a first date and got a second date, and that was what my focus was, and it literally changed everything because that young lady would later become my wife. And she changed everything. She poured life into me. She told me I needed to deal with certain things, even when she was hearing my story. And I didn't melt to her. I didn't melt down to her. I was just saying everything that happened. And she knew that I didn't go to the funeral of my friend during this is going on. And I was just telling her, like, people die every day. Be like, I just lost 10 people last year. And she was just like, whoa. That's all she needed to hear was like, whoa, did you go to therapy? And I was like, no, I'm good. She's like, you need to deal with that. And there were things throughout our relationship that she realized, like, yo, you need to heal from a lot. You have some trauma there. Not from this alone, but from previous relationships and dealing with people who have deceived me and lied behind my back, friends, and like I said, prior romantic relationships, things that have been done to me that I know about, things that people done to me that they don't even know that I know they did. And she was like, you need to deal with this because it's getting to a point where it's starting to affect our relationship and you need to deal with these things. And we would have our own little counseling sessions and we would have devotionals, and she had her things too. But she really helped me and walked me through it. And all of a sudden, I didn't want to crash out anymore. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to build. I got my ambition back. I just wanted to build, and focus on what I needed to do. And we're starting to build a life together. We've been married for about a year now. And we've accomplished so much. We relocated to a new city, brought a home, brand new home, got married in Jamaica, and we're building this beautiful life together. But this woman who took the time to understand me and have compassion for me and allow me to deal with what I need to deal with, even when it got ugly, and had patience, is what really got me out of my funk and got me to where I need to be. And I'm still growing. We're growing every day. We're still learning. But the reason for this podcast is not everybody has a pumpkin. That's what I call my wife, pumpkin. Not everybody has that. Not everybody knows how to handle one. And there are guys who've ran into women like my wife, but their destructive ways chase them away. And maybe that person in their life didn't have the patience to stay with them. That doesn't put a stain on them, doesn't make them a bad person. No, you're hard to deal with. You're hard to live with. Your trauma makes it difficult. Nobody is entitled. You can't have a sense of entitlement that people need to deal with your stuff. And sometimes people don't even know that they're so hard to deal with because they haven't taken a look at themselves. The world does not owe you compassion. You need to figure your stuff out and be easier to be around, right? And that's what we're going to do on this podcast. We're going to explore, we're going to open up, we're going to talk, and we're going to work on ourselves. We're going to talk to each other, we're going to talk things out, right? And to the women that are watching, we're going to discuss things so you can understand things, not necessarily telling you what to do, but to give you understanding. And maybe that will provide you with the patience that is needed to speak to the king in him, to speak to the leader in him, right? And fellas, to understand what it is that you do, things that you say, and how they affect people around you, whether it's a business relationship, romantic relationship of the sort. And we're going to figure it out. And if I touch a nerve, please understand, don't come for me. I am just the messenger. Yeah. Thank you for tapping in. See you in episode 2 where we really talk about it and where I'm at now and how I was able to work through some of my issues. And I want to hear some of yours and what you're going through. We're going to discuss real things. Once again, this is Just the Messenger podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to stay connected with us for all the latest content. Follow us on Facebook at Just the Messenger Podcast, Instagram at Just Messenger Pod, X or Twitter, JTM Podcast, or YouTube at Jax the Messenger.